Michael Wheels Parise here. Another episode of How Not to Bomb presents Everybody's Got a Story. We got a great story today. I got a special guest. Very hard to get this guy. I have him over here. Is Andrew D. Donato, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little about Andrew. He was a Gambino associate with the Gambino crime family in New York. I know Andrew. We go back a little bit, too. We'll talk about that. And he changed his whole life. He's also an author. He wrote a book. We'll talk about that. He's going to tell you the truth about what's going on out there, because there's a lot of people doing these mob YouTube shows now, and half of them are full of shit. But anyway, we got history. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Andrew D. Donato, everybody. How you doing, Andrew?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you?
Good. You're here.
A while since I seen you, bud.
I think I left in 2018. I ended up moving out of
2018, yeah, that was probably it.
And then that was probably the last time we saw each other.
That's when I seen you in Vegas.
That's right. We were hanging in Vegas. I forgot how we met in Vegas, though. I mean, I forgot because I know we.
You know what? I don't know if we met with. You know what? We probably met through. It wasn't Henry or anything, was it?
I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure. I really don't know how we fucking. I don't know how we met.
Yeah, but I used to see you in Billy's Club. I used to see you on 11th Avenue.
Yeah, on 11th Avenue in Billy's Club. Absolutely. Billy Gattolo, I used to love him, and his son Billy Jr. The whole crew. I was back there.
Yeah, remember I used to see you there
all the time.
That was so many years ago, bro. It seems like yesterday sometimes, right?
Doesn't it seem like it was just like yesterday when you think about it? It really does. Like seem it was like so close. This is years ago, you know. And Billy's been gone when? Since
1999.
98? 99?
Yeah, 98, 99. Yeah. That's a shame.
That was even before the before 2000s, and it seems like it was just yesterday. I know that was a shame.
Yeah. You know what? I think from the year 2000 to now was like a fucking blur. It was like done zero. Yeah, I don't remember anything.
But I really, it all ran. But I really think that a lot has changed, even in the mob now. Don't you think? Like from that time, that era, that was kind of the last era.
See, back in if you want to come up like when I was coming up in the street, like in the early '80s, late '70s, early '80s, guys years ago, then like there was a lot of guys doing work in the street. There was a lot of things. You wanted to get made, you had to do work back then. Guys were. You don't see that anymore. It's morphosized into what you see now. Listen, it was always about money. That's a given. But now, like you see these young kids, like here, give you for like a neighborhood like Staten Island, right? If you get like a few young kids from Staten Island, they're making good money legitimately. They don't need any mob ties, but you know what? They're neighborhood kids. So somebody sees that they're making money, they ingratiate them with the friendship. They start to get close to the kid, and then they start talking to the kid about, shaking them, not shaking them down, but like you're with us now. If you need anything or whatever, they start sending people there to make sales, whatever it is this guy is selling. And then next thing you know, they straighten out this guy to propose him for membership so that they could suck his blood the rest of his life. But instead of him seeing it for what it really is, he thinks that he's got friends, but he doesn't realize that these guys are just there to take from him.
They're just there to, but what do you why do you think that they're even, I mean, everybody who is, you got more people now that are in the program than you do on the streets. And the people that are in the program are the toughest guys out of everybody. I mean, guys like you, Junior, Sakali, Franchese. I mean, these are legitimate tough guys. Mike.
Well, you know what? Listen, the whole idea is everybody's got their story as to why they wanted to cooperate or whatever they decided to do. That's their business, right?
Right.
But yeah, that doesn't mean that if you run into somebody that they're not going to break your ass. The whole idea is, these guys are still who they are. The whole idea is they chose to go a different path.
And that was my
and that's call it for what it is, but even the life itself wasn't itself. Listen, I take responsibility. I cooperated. I did what I had to do. I got no excuses. My excuse was this. I was on the fucking hit parade. I could not win. I was definitely getting murdered. There was no doubt about it. My beef was with the boss of the family, and I had a few beefs with outside families for the shit that I was doing in the street. So I was on an oxygen tank, 1,000%. So I was one guy.
Choice.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to take on everybody, go down in the blaze of glory so you guys could talk about me in the bar for 2 minutes? No. I'm going to try to make a life for myself. And I couldn't beat them with a gun in my hand. So I beat them with the truth, basically.
Because even if you would have went into jail, and which you did time, but even if you would have cooperated,
Yeah,
and did time
I did
without going
plenty
into
of
the
time. So you don't walk away from
yeah,
doing time. You still pay. You still got to pay for your crimes. A lot of
right,
guys, they got like once in a lifetime opportunities when they made deals or whatever they did. But most guys, they're still going to do time. It's still going to happen. And it was never
right,
about jail. I was in jail my whole life. I did two
yeah,
bids. Everybody that I knew was in prison. But the whole idea was, what was I doing it for at that point? At that point, when you're looking to kill me, and we both know you are, why am I protecting you? You're not doing a fucking thing for
right.
me.
But if you,
When I was away on my first
but
bid,
when you went
my
into
wife was on welfare. They didn't give a
right,
fuck.
they didn't care. They didn't give you an envelope, right?
No, they don't care. They only
It
care.
was,
They only started caring when they knew I was coming home. Then they started caring.
but now, so let's go back a little. So they wanted to put a hit on you, and I remember that you had told me that.
Well, yeah, well, I had a lot of problems back then. I was doing things I wasn't supposed to, granted, but I wasn't
Right.
getting it on anybody. I was staying away, doing my thing, and I was making some really good money. And when it comes down to it, they wanted my money, plain and simple. And,
But
a
if you
lot
would've
of
went- if
guys
you
who
would've
I
went to
looked up to
jail-
as like brothers and people who I would have died for anyway, it was a no-brainer. Listen, if you knew me in the street, everybody will know. I could have gave a fuck. I was militant about it. I walked around with a gun
Right.
in my hand every fucking day of my life, and everybody knows it.
Right, you were
So,
strong. Yeah,
yeah, so you're doing these things, but you're doing them thinking you're a part of this greater entity, that you're a part of this honor society. At the end of the day,
right.
I started to realize
just
who everybody really was, and I look in the mirror, and all you see is a guy. All you are is a criminal. You're not living this honored life. There's guys looking to fuck your wife when you go away. There's certain guys get lucky. They get one or two guys that are really close with them. They feed them money when they're away. They do the right thing. They're really true friends. Other guys, they come and go like the weather. Like I had like one or two
But
friends
if you
who
wouldn't have,
actually did the
you
right
would have
thing.
not cooperated.
Excuse
but
me?
let's say you didn't cooperate, right? Let's say you
Yeah.
didn't cooperate, and you would have went to jail. That hit would have carried over into jail. So if you
Yeah, but
cooperated
see,
and
listen,
you went to jail,
if they're
at least
looking
they
to kill
keep
you
separate.
on Monday and you know it, what are they going to do? They're going to give you a pass on Wednesday, say, don't worry about it, we're good? It's not going to be.
Yeah,
How could you
right.
ever trust these people again at that point? And the
You
writing was
can't.
on the
So you
wall.
had
I
to
mean,
go
they
and do
killed
what you had to do.
they killed two friends of mine, and I knew that I had this information about the double homicide. They were not going to let me live. Never in a million years, no matter how long we go back. And know what the
Do
shame
you
of
ever
it all
think
is,
about who would
Michael?
have pulled the trigger?
Some of the guys that I
Yeah.
came up with, we were in the streets together since kids. At 2 o'clock in the
Right.
morning, you had a fucking problem. You called my house. I was out, guns blazing. And I was involved in multiple shootings in my life. I didn't give a fuck. And I was always there for my friends. And they'd be the first one to tell you
Yeah.
whether I'm cooperating or not. That is fact. You can't get around that. And here I am. I'm doing all of this for you. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at you as you're my brother. And you're looking at me as competition. And when you had an opportunity to fucking, sneak me or fucking, lure me into a
Help
fucking
you.
trap, these guys had no problem to do that. And you know what?
Right.
Maybe we're not the same because I don't think I could have did that.
Who do you think would have pulled the trigger on you?
Oh my God! Listen.
If you had
When
to guess,
guys
the
are
person
looking
who
to
was gonna
suck the
get-
boss's
who would have been
ass,
told to
listen.
do it?
Listen. You got to understand this. Pulling a trigger, anybody could pull a fucking trigger, okay? But the whole idea is, it's anybody who's looking to ingratiate themselves with the boss who's giving the order. So if a guy's giving the order and somebody sees me out there, they're supposed to do what they got to do, and that's what the life is. And I know that even today, I have a healthy respect of what they could do to me, but I also know that they have a healthy respect of what I could do to them.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
listen, I'm not going to lay down. I don't want to put myself in a position where I got to be away from my family anymore or nothing. I walked away from that life for a reason. But that's the only reason why I would go back to jail, is if I had to put a bullet in somebody's head, I would do it with a smile on my fucking face to protect my family and to protect myself. And then all bets are off because your life is over anyway. So what does it matter?
And like you said, you are who you are. I mean, and I think the tougher guys now are who cooperated are tougher than the ones who aren't cooperating. I wouldn't.
Well, the whole
wanna
idea is you've seen the writing on the wall for what the life really is. You're seeing that the bosses ain't sharing the money. The bosses are just
No.
getting rich. The respect goes up the ladder, but the respect don't come down the ladder. It just doesn't. That's just the way it is. And
Right.
years ago, you needed a really hard excuse to get a guy killed. Now they just killing guys just to take their money because earning became so hard for certain guys. So they went out there and they decided, okay, if you're earning and whatever, we're gonna kill you so we can take your money. That's what happens, and
Yeah,
then
so there's not even the way it was years ago. Years ago, you had a little bit of ethics and code. Now it's all a fucking free.
well, what happened was the guys weren't so desperate as they are today. You gotta remember something.
Everybody, yeah.
There's nothing left on the street. Listen, that's why a lot of these guys are infiltrating legitimate businesses now because there's nothing on the street unless you have
Yeah.
you're doing offshore gambling where you can make some money because gambling's always going to stay. You got these vices that'll always stay. As long as a guy needs to borrow money, you'll always be able to lend it. As long as the guy's going to gamble, and I don't begrudge people. You want to gamble, you go do what you got to do. But those are the only
Right.
things that you could actually really make some decent money on. What else are you going to do in the street? You're going to be a junk pusher. You're going to deal drugs. You'll be fucking pinched within a year. Somebody's going to come, going to give you up, and you're done. Unless you infiltrate a construction company or something like that. Where's the money going to come from? So these guys, the wise guys who are still out on the street now, they're ingratiating themselves with people who have businesses so they could suck their blood. That's all it comes down
There's
to.
nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
have
it's the
one
way to
foot in
go because
jail.
now you're not going to get locked up. It's a legitimate business. You're getting free money because they're going to take care of you because of who you are. But I laugh because
Fear.
somebody told me, they said, you spend a lot of time in New York. And I do. I spend a ton of time in New York. I don't rub anything in anybody's faces. They wanted the street, you got the street. But I come and go and I do what I got to do. But the bottom line is that they're like, well, aren't you worried? And I'm like, who am I worried about? The maid guy who owns a fucking car dealership but never broke an egg in his life? Or they're just fucking
And they don't
taking
even
money
probably
from him?
know you.
What the fuck is he going
They
to do?
probably don't even, and they don't
Don't
probably
get me
know
wrong,
you anymore
though.
anyways.
Excuse me?
They probably don't know you the way that
Well,
like
it's
the
not
new
even
people
it's not
out
even
there
the
doing
point
it.
of that. Listen, there's probably about 1-2% of everybody who's in the street now who are actually for real. And I respect that because these guys, they're gonna be gangsters to the day they die. And there's very few of them.
Yeah.
And they're scattered amongst the 5 families, but there's very few of them. All these other guys are living off their fucking reputations, is what it is. So you
Have
get
you
a
had any
guy
close
who,
calls?
he was in the trenches his whole fucking life. He committed fucking murders for the family. He did what he had to do. He took time on the chin. He did what he had to do, right? Stand up guy. And now you got these other kids who never had a fist fight in their life. They're living off this guy's reputation because they're never going to get a reputation. Not in this day and age,
the
because in this day and age
reputation
you can't
days,
get
you
away
can't.
with nothing.
And you can't earn that anymore. Do you ever have any close calls though? Have you had any close
Yeah,
calls?
yeah,
You
yeah.
go, "That
You want to
was tough."
laugh? You want to laugh? And it happened with a guy that I really, really fucking liked. And for many years, I got along so good with him over the years, and it broke my heart because it had to be him. But
Yeah.
I had a close call. I was in Brooklyn, and I was on Columbia Street, and I was having lunch with this woman that I know. And we were having lunch, and I come out of the restaurant, and this woman was walking her dog. And there's a guy 2 feet away standing there, and this girl that I was with bends down, pets the dog. She starts talking to the woman. All of a sudden, I hear a car door slam. I turn around, and I see a guy walking from like the yellow line in the middle of the street towards me, like right towards me. It's just me and him, nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see him, and right away, I know him. I put my hand behind my back, and I said, you take another fucking step, I'm going to shoot you right in your head. Done.
Wow.
I had him in the middle of Columbia Street with his hands in the fucking air, so help me God, for about 3 minutes. He's like, sir, I don't even know who you are. I don't know. Because he hasn't seen me in so long, I got sunglasses on. And I'm like, yeah, let's make it that way. You don't know who I am. So let's keep it that way. Right? I said, so you go about your business. Don't fucking move until I walk away from me. I said, you think you're going to roll up on me? It ain't never going to fucking happen. So I
So
started
he was
walking away.
rolling up then.
And the girl's walking away with me. And then all of a sudden it clicks in his head on who I am. And he throws up his hands in the middle of the street. He's going,
You there? You broke up a little bit. I can't hear you now. You went dead on me. Well, we were in the middle of a story with Andrew DiDonato about how he came for a close call. Why we are waiting for Andrew to come back. Today's episode is brought to you by Babe's Classic Restoration. You know, every great classic story and every classic has a story. Just like everybody who has a story. Everybody's got a story. And Babe's Classic Restorations, as a founding partner of How Not to Bomb, presents Everybody's Got a Story. They are a founding partner. So if you got a classic car that deserves a second chance, the team at Babes don't just restore vehicles, they bring history back to life, people. That's right. Whether it's a full frame-off restoration, custom paint, body work, or bringing your dream car back to showroom condition, they treat every project like it's their own. Located in Venice, Florida, Babes Classic Restorations has earned a reputation of quality craftsmanship, attention to detail, and doing things the right way. So if you have been waiting for the right stop and right place to bring your classic car, trust me with trust Babes Classics. Muscle cars, collectible cars, collectible vehicles, they do it all. They restore anything that's a hard body car. Give Babes Classic Restoration a call today at 941-286-7740 or visit them at 735 Commerce Drive, Unit 8 in Venice, 34292. Let's see. So I don't know what happened to Andrew. Hopefully he'll call back. I'm going to text him. So last time I saw Andrew was in Las Vegas, and we ran into each other somewhere there, and we kind of befriended each other again. We rekindled, and it was cool, you know. And we would hang out once in a while, and, you know, and Billy Jr., Billy Catolo Jr., would also hang out once in a while when he was living out in the West Coast. But yeah, Andrew and I, you know, he was a Gambino associate in the Gambino crime family, and he has some great stories. We were going to talk about it. He's texting me. He goes, "I'm having trouble logging back on like I did before." Let's see if we can get Andrew back on. Andrew was telling a great story of how he had a close call when he ran into somebody in the street that knew him from his past life, and then he got cut off. He was in his car on his laptop, and that's what happens. This is when we do a live show like this. Anything can happen, and you got to be ready for it. You know, that's what it is. You got to be ready for it, and you got to be able to ad lib. Oh wow, yeah, and he was telling me who it was. The guy's name was Black Dom, and I knew who Dom was. Fuck, that would have been a great story. I wanted you guys to hear it too. Um, anyway, I don't know if it's going to happen. You know, it's funny. Just while we're waiting to see, you know, I'm going to plug a little something that I have here. I wrote a book, everybody. You know, growing up in an Italian American family for many, I would say for most of my life, all of my life, we love to cook. Italian Americans, we love to cook. We everybody always asks, you got the recipe for this, you got the recipe for that. So I ended up writing a cookbook. It's called Put the Pot On. And it's about growing up Italian when everybody was still alive, all the great parties and all the great times we had together. And every recipe, I got 50 recipes in this book that basically are the recipes that my parents and grandparents would write down and scribble on little pieces of paper and shove them in the junk drawer. The recipes that are lost, the lost recipes, kind of like the honeymooners, lost editions. Put the Pot On. You can get it on Amazon, and you can also get it in Kindle or paperback version. And it's a great little a stocking stuffer. And I got a lot of great recipes in there. I got Sunday gravy in there. I got everything. So I don't know if Andrew's going to be able to get back on. Texting him right now. I said, "Are you trying to get back?" That was a great story he was telling too. Imagine that. I mean, we got like 18 minutes of talking to him about different things. So I mean, I'll still air it, but it would have been nice to get him in, and he froze up. His laptop or whatever froze up, and he was in the middle of telling a great story. But let me see if I have anything going on here. I had somebody chatting. Let's see who is it. That's the way nowadays, doing shows like this. When you're doing live shows, bananas, Ted Valerdi. When you're doing live shows like this, it's difficult if somebody's having an issue, but that sucks. All right. Well, listen, what can we do? Let me see if I can get him back on. Maybe we can do the audio version with him. I got you on the phone, though, because I was just telling the people, that's one thing about it, the live show. When you're doing a show like that, things happen. But I got you on the computer. While you're trying to log on, I can still talk to you, right? You're still able to
Yeah, without a doubt.
So let me just, so I got Andrew on the phone, because that was such a great story. I knew the person you were talking about, Black Dom. And so he really didn't recognize you?
He didn't recognize you. It's been so many years. Nice to hang out with Dom. I loved him. He was a good guy, Dom.
So what did he say when he finally recognized you and you recognized him?
When he finally recognized me, he still had his hands in the air, this poor bastard. And he had his hands in the air, and he tells me, he says, Andrew, I'm not that guy, Andrew. He goes, please. I said, listen, Dom, I always liked you. I says, and I'm glad you're doing well. I said, but we both know if you come near me, I'm going to shoot you. I said, because I can't trust you. So I'm going to go my way, you go your way. Let's just do it as that. And that's what I did. I went my way, he went his way, and I felt bad afterwards because was always a good guy.
Do you honestly think he was genuinely meaning what he said, or do you think that he could have turned on you any second?
He could have turned on me any second. How are you going to trust that?
How much of you do you think trusted him, though?
He is a made member of a crime family.
Is he made now? He's made?
He's got no choice but to come after me if he can.
Right. But do you think he would have sacrificed his whole life? You think he would have really done that?
What do you think these guys are taking oaths for? They're taking oaths because...
No, but what I'm saying, there was no proof. He wasn't with anybody else who took the oath. So he could have just walked away and made like it never happened.
Well, he could have. That's his business. But I know that there's certain guys that I grew up with. If I see them and they see me, we're going to hold court in the street. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to happen, and I'm sure they don't want it to happen.
Now,
but at the end of the day,
yeah.
It's real. It's real.
But Black Dom was actually right in your group. Like, he was part of that whole time with you.
Yeah.
He wasn't one of the old ones. He wasn't one of the little ones.
There's no question about it. I even feel bad talking about him now. He was a good man, Dom.
He was a great guy.
I never had no issues with Dom.
No.
We always had fun when we were together. We used to do business together years ago. But listen, this is my life we're talking about.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, he's got a life, I got a life. He walked away, I walked away. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And it is what it is.
Is there anybody in the life that you do talk to still that you know? You don't got to mention names.
I'm not going to put it out
there. Yeah.
But see, that's the kind of life this is. is the kind of life where these guys, they want to walk away. Some of these guys, they're just trapped.
Right.
You know, they're trapped. And, you know, for lack of a better word, so they could turn around and say, oh, no, you know, they're I'm telling you. We both know what the street is about, Michael. You're in the street your whole life. You realize there's no fucking happy ending here, kid. You're either going to go to jail, suffer, be without your family for fucking double-digit years, go down the pipe or whatever.
Yep.
And what's that? That makes you a man? You got to fucking prove that you can sit in a jail cell for fucking 30 years to be a man?
Do you miss anything about that life, though? What are the things you miss?
About it, there's certain people in that life that I was very, very close with. Guys that I'll miss for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That I was really, really close with. They were real friends.
Right.
And they weren't like friends using me and then turning on me when they had an opportunity to rise up a ladder. That's not a friend. That's a fucking guy who's just looking out for himself.
Right.
Now, granted, you're in the street. So because you're in the street, I don't begrudge him that because that's the game. But don't begrudge me for what I did to fucking survive the fucking trap you set for me.
Right, right. That's where people fail. They want to call you guys rats and whatever, but they don't understand. You would have died. You would have been dead.
You want to call me a name? What the fuck does that mean?
Exactly.
Here's the deal, right? I see you, you see me. Then we'll see who the gangster is.
Right.
I don't walk around with a chip on my shoulder. I keep my mouth shut. I listen to these other podcasts. Some of them are really good.
Right.
Other ones I fucking hold my nose to.
I really like a lot of them. I like Mafia Roundtable with Dom Sicali. That's my favorite.
You know what?
one.
I never met Dom Sicali. You know, I have a friend of mine, my friend Anthony. My friend Anthony Russo knows Dom very well. So I don't know him. You know, I never had a conversation with Dom, so I wouldn't know.
Right.
I seen it online once or twice. I just breezed by it. All of the content that's out there, you know, there's something to learn from it somehow. It's got to make some sort of positive impact somewhere.
Right.
I think what happens is when and I'm not talking about Dom Sicali, I'm just saying other people. When you're looking for ratings and, you know, you have to keep it, you got to keep yourself relevant. You got to keep the storyline going because you're trying to get views.
Right.
But the bottom line is that it's all about the content. If you're in the street, you share those stories. If people want to hear them and it is what it is, great. You know, I see everybody on there. That's fine.
I had Jimmy Easy on the show. You know Jimmy Easy? He was on my show recently.
Yeah. I was away. I was in Otisville with Jimmy Easy.
Oh, you were?
We were in the feds together.
Wow. Yeah. So when you go into the WITS, they call it WITSEC, is what I heard. Is that what they call it?
Well, yeah, WITSEC, yeah.
When you go into that, you're in a separate area of the jail. Then at that point, you're not in.
Yeah, once you're in. But I was in population for years before this happened. This is not nothing new. Like, you know, I didn't make the decision day one.
Okay.
It took a long time. I sat, I did what I had to do, like, you know. But listen, it is what it is. It's, you know, there's certain things that if I rehash, what good is it? You know, I wrestled with it for quite some time afterwards. But then I thought about it and I started to fucking do the math on it. And I realized, you know, who I was around, what was going to happen, friends that I just lost for fucking, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And I knew, listen, when you hold too much information sometimes, no matter how loyal you are, it's not going to fucking give you a free pass and give you safe passage.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
They can't trust the fact that you know this information.
Right.
You're not a straightened out guy. You're not made. So these guys are not going to go to bed at night knowing that you could fucking bury them.
Right.
So they're going to fucking try to daha you. It's going to happen.
Right.
So they definitely wanted to kill me, and good. That was the game. You were supposed to try.
That was supposed to be. That was their job.
I don't think they're mad at me. You know what I think they're mad about the most?
They failed.
I think they're mad that I got away.
Yeah, they failed.
That's what they're mad about.
And they failed at not being able to do it. You know, and too bad.
And I don't begrudge them that. That's the street. You do what you need to do. I get it. I understand that. And listen, I don't have anything bad to say about these people. These are people I was around every day of my life. I fucking put my balls on the line year after year after year. Okay?
Yeah.
I put myself in harm's way more times than I could fucking count for these people. They never did the same for me.
Right. That's not true friends.
For instance, on my case, my first case, I went away for shooting somebody. I went away for a shooting.
Yeah.
The witness in my case lived in the neighborhood. They didn't even give him a beating.
Wow.
Not even a fucking beating. But when I came home, know what they told me? Well, now that you're home, now we'll take care of it. You know, there was too much going on at the time. You know, the Colombos were in a war. you know, there was too many things going on in the street, and this family is bigger than who you are. All the nonsense. And what am I going to say? The guy's my boss. What am I going to say?
Right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, I love you. I'll always be there for you. But I needed you when my hands were tied. Now when my hands are free, I don't need you. I can take care of this on my own, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful manner.
Right.
Okay? And the bottom line is, but yet when a guy in my crew had a fucking, a guy putting up fucking posters of him trying to rob his fucking car years ago and this and that, me and another guy who's made now, me and a kid named Mario Casarino, right?
Yeah.
Mario was a tough guy, but Mario got shelved, I think. But Mario was a tough kid. So me and Mario went. The guy was a fucking, I don't know, he worked in the fucking, this is going back in the 80s. He worked at a recruiting station, this guy.
Yeah.
So I walked in the recruiting station, how young I was. I walked in making believe I wanted to join the fucking army. And then I asked him about the crime. And he was like, yeah, these motherfuckers, I got their information. I went to the police. I did this, I did that. Me and Mario left this guy on the fucking sidewalk. And he never fucking pursued it. For them.
Right. That's fucking
How many times I burned evidence for fucking people? I fucking did fucking things that they would never fucking do, these guys.
What were you known
they're
for,
walking
Andrew?
around, they got fucking badges, they're fucking made guys now. And meanwhile, me and maybe two or three other crew members were actually doing all the work.
Right. Well, that's what happens, right? I mean, that's what they do. When they become made guys, they think they have it easy now, right?
Yeah, well, basically the bottom line is they think they got it fucking easy, but the bottom line is some of them earned it.
Right.
Now, you know, there was guys at my crew who earned it. They were fucking there. They did plenty of jail time. They fucking, you know, they rose to the occasion when they were asked to for the family. They did what they were supposed to do. These other guys are just fucking, you know, sucking their blood and living off their reputations.
What do you think
they need those guys too, because who else is going to be around these days? These young kids have so much at their fingertips today. Why the fuck would they want to get involved in this life? For what?
But they do, though. Why do they want to get involved?
They do because either they're uneducated, either they're in the neighborhood, or their uncle was something, or their cousin was something, or whatever the fuck it is. They got misguided fucking loyalty. For what reason?
Right.
You're going to get involved in this life for what?
And they do.
You know, if you were a boss, or if I was a boss, would I want my kid involved in this life?
Oh,
hell no.
God,
I'm in the streets so I can make a better life for them. Not that I could drag them in the sewer with me.
Right. But so back in your day, in your heyday, what did you think people thought about you? Like, what were you considered? What was your reputation?
Listen, what people think about me, I'll tell you what I think about that. Ready? Zero fucks what people think about me.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's you who's putting your balls up. It's you who's going to get killed if something goes bad.
Right.
It's you who's going to have a problem if you don't answer or do an order the proper way, or if they ask you to do something and take a responsibility. It's you who's going to get fucking hit in the head.
Right.
With other people or people who judge, you know who judges us the worst? Fucking regular citizens who never fucking did a fucking illegal act in their life. They never even cheated on their taxes, these people.
Yeah.
Because they watch too many movies and think that that's true. The movies are not true.
Right. That's right.
You know,
They're movies.
The movies are to sell movies.
Right.
In real life, people bleed real blood. People got problems, go to jail, never see their kids again. These are the things that happen.
Right.
And if anybody out there is going to say, oh, well, you know, it's you who put them in jail. Motherfucker, you should have thought about that before you decorated my friend's body, dead body in the street. You should have thought about that.
Right.
But being you want to decorate the neighborhood with my friend's dead body, now you get the repercussion. That's what happens.
Right. Wow.
Plain and simple.
And what kind of reputation did you have? What were you? Were you a tough? Were you considered a cowboy?
There's
were you
a lot of guys in the family who were capable. Were there guys in the family more capable than me? Sure. But everybody knows if they told me to come and shoot you, it was automatic.
Right.
You were done.
That's
if
it.
they told me to come and break your legs, I would go and break your legs.
You carried it out.
And I don't walk, Michael, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't walk around like that. I keep my fucking head down. I do what I got to do. I'm a very humble guy. I don't have a fucking ego. I don't need to be stroked. I don't need to be known as the toughest, the this, the that. But I can tell you one thing.
You could take care of yourself.
I was as real as fucking cancer could be.
Right. When I saw you in Vegas, though, Andrew, I mean, you were keeping a pretty low pro out there.
I always keep it low pro.
No, but you were really,
my style.
but I think back even I think in Vegas even more, you protected your identity even more.
Well, you got to remember, back then, the Gotti trial was on. Things were fucking amplified. There was a lot of things going on back in the early 2000s. I couldn't, I wasn't going to walk around, whatever. I walked around. I don't hide from nobody. Bro, I'm in my neighborhood all the time. Not that I'm trying to rub it in anybody's noses, but that's what I'm going to live my life.
Right.
I've lived my life already 35 years more than these people wanted me to.
I can't believe you're actually walking around the old neighborhood, dude. That's kind of fucking...
Well, I don't walk around like a fucking...
You don't put it in their face.
I'm walking into places and I'm not taunting you to fucking react. I'm not doing that. You want to go to certain restaurants, you go. I give a fuck. I'm not going there. I go where I go.
Right.
And I'm happy with these places.
Right.
But the bottom line is I'm still going to be me.
Right.
And I'm still going to go do the things that I do.
And you're still going to take care of yourself if you have
some
to.
Some guys will say, well, we could do this and we could do that. Yeah, you could do them and so could I. But I choose to know that if I do these things, I'm either going to catch a case or put other people in harm's way. And I'm not going to do that. If I catch you and it's a random act of God and I roll and I turn the corner, then we'll see. If we're looking at each other, then we'll see who's going to do what.
Yeah, because you don't lose who you are, like you said. I mean, if anything happens, you're the same fucking guy you are.
What I gotta do, bro. Listen, I don't want a situation. I really don't.
Right.
And that's the God's honest truth. So what is the purpose of changing my life, moving on, making a success out of my business and doing the things that I do if I'm going to resort back to that? It doesn't pay. At least now I know I stuck to the mantra. I did what I had to do. I walked away. I don't fucking do anything that I'm not supposed to do. I do what I have to do. But that doesn't mean if I run into you and you think you're going to make a fuck out of me, it ain't never going to happen.
Right.
It ain't never going to happen.
Have you ever run into anybody that, other than that close call?
Yeah, I ran into a few people. In Vegas, I ran into people.
Have you ever met
people in New York?
But have you ever ran into anybody?
What? And I'm glad that they do. You know what they all do? Oh, my God, Andrew, it's been so long since I seen you. My God, how many years has it been? You look great, brother. I haven't seen you in so long. And then as soon as they leave me, they're on their cell phone.
Right.
And know what they're probably saying on the cell phone? You don't know. I seen this fucking rat, this motherfucker. I wish I had a little fucking... There was too many fucking people around. Motherfucker. Sit down. Sit the fuck down.
And that's what makes me think, like, when you met... I don't know, Dom, when you saw him by chance, and he's made now. And that I didn't know that he was made. Actually, I think I knew he was made.
But it's not even that. It's not even that. Dom was a good guy.
He was a good guy,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dom's not a jerk. You know what I mean?
I would say probably more than likely, he probably wouldn't have done anything.
I know the rules of the life better than anybody. So I know that if you're made and you run into a guy, you got to act.
Right.
Now, maybe Dom wanted to act, but I caught him off guard and I caught him short.
Right.
And because I did, he couldn't act.
Right.
So maybe at another time in another place, he would have acted.
If he was with another made guy, I bet he would have had to act.
Yes, of course.
That's what I
Not
heard.
that
Yeah.
He wanted to. They have no choice.
Like, he could have walked away. You could have probably had a conversation with him, and he would have walked away because he wasn't with another made guy. But if he was with somebody else, they would have had to.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You didn't want to take that chance.
I can't take that for granted.
Right.
You understand? See, I can't slip once. They could slip 1,000 times because they got 1,000 people.
Right.
I can't slip once.
No.
You get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate that these things happen because, you leave a lot of people in your past, people that you did really good things with, people that you did favors for, people that you looked after, I used to laugh. I used to always say to myself, when I was growing up, I had about I can't even fucking count how many fist fights I had.
Yeah.
Growing up. But my fights were never for me, Michael. My fights were for protecting
other
somebody
people. Yeah.
or helping somebody. With me, no, it never happened that way.
I will say, though, you're one of the first ones. I mean, before all of this, I mean, you wrote a book, and everybody's writing books now. Everybody's doing that and podcasting. But
you know what? God bless them. If they got a story to tell, and that story's going to be helpful to just one fucking person in the world. Listen, you're not changing the world. You're not doing all of this. You know what? Some people want to read it because they live vicariously through your acts. Other people just like the genre. They like to see what people got to say. And I respect that.
Right.
But what you see on the internet now, well, this guy's no good, this guy's a jerk off, well, that guy's this. I don't do that.
There's a lot of that going on.
I don't sit here and dim somebody else's fucking life to try to get me to get a headline. I can give a fuck less.
Right.
I am who I am. You don't like it, you don't have to listen.
Yeah.
You keep it moving.
You always
And
kept
I'll
it
do
real.
the same when I hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for trouble either. I just put my situation as such.
Right.
I know who I am. They know who I am. I know what they're capable of. They know what I'm capable of, and we leave it at that.
Do you ever go on
Plain
any
and
other podcasts? You've done any other shows?
Excuse me?
Have you done any other shows, any other podcasts?
Yeah, over the years I have, but I haven't done anything in a very long time. And I do that out of my own necessity. I got my own business. I do what I have to do. I'm trying to earn money, and I'm trying to do things that I want to do.
Your way.
What these other guys do are unimportant to me. I'm glad they're doing it, but unless they get into unless they get into my business and they're like competition to me, it doesn't matter. I wish them all the best of luck because each and every one of them has a great story in their own right, and they should be able to express that some way.
And how did your story begin, though? How did the mob come into your life?
I grew up in a neighborhood where that's all that was around me. I grew up my house as a young kid. We lived between two social clubs. My uncle was a captain in the Genovese crime family, and so all of our friends and everything, it was always, on the fringes of society. All the fucking people who were fucking gangsters, knock around guys, people like that. These are the people that I knew. But even back then, you were too young, of course, to understand.
Sure.
But life was even bullshit back then.
Yeah.
But
it was more glorified then.
Right now, they want people to think, oh my God, they got friendship, camaraderie. There's more jealousy and envy in fucking organized crime circles than anywhere else.
Right.
And another thing I'll tell you, there's more fucking government informants who are in the street than the guys who cooperated.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's almost impossible to do anything
nowadays. They get this
nowadays.
information for. They get this information what? Because they got a fucking crystal ball? They get the information from paying guys, giving them money to give information. So when guys get made, they're already in the fucking room, these people.
Right. That's true. Nowadays, it's hard to operate. Imagine trying to operate now. You can't. All the cameras. Everybody's got a cell phone. These
guys earned their stripes who are in the street now. But you want to know the truth, Michael? Maybe we'll take a small area like Staten Island, right? There's probably 8 solid fucking true blue fucking gangsters that'll put you to sleep if they had the opportunity.
Right. In Staten Island.
Rest, I hate to say it. I hate to use the term. The rest, blowjobs.
Right.
Straight up blowjobs.
Right. Why do you think that is, though? I mean,
why? Because what happens is, as the years went on and the links in the chains weakened, and they started to make guys who didn't deserve positions, and you decided to make guys just so you can get the earn from them, this is what you got out there now. You got legitimate guys who are made.
Right.
It's never going to be what it used to be. And a lot of these guys who are in the street now, they remember the way it used to be.
Right.
Look at this poor guy, Teddy Persico. Look at Teddy Persico. I really, really like Teddy.
Yeah.
Over the years,
he's back in jail.
I was very, very close with his brother Danny. May God rest his soul. I always got along with the Persicos, always. And this poor guy, he's been in jail over 40 years of his life. And they keep saying he's the boss. He comes home, they get him home for 15 minutes. He has a cup of coffee, they put him back in prison, this guy.
I know.
And they put him back in prison because he's consorting with known felon, whatever the fuck he's doing. And he's smarter than that. But this is the life that he wants. What kind of life is that? Never had any children, never did anything like that. And this guy could have the world by the balls.
Yeah, why still live that life? He can very easily get out of that life if he really wanted to.
Of course. I feel very bad for him. I really do. Because he's stuck on that treadmill and he can't get off it, this kid.
Yeah.
And, I had a lot of fun with him over the years. He was a good guy. He was a good dude. It's just unfortunate that every time you open up a newspaper, this guy is fucking getting violated or doing more jail time.
Always. And so it's interesting. You were friends with the Persicos, but you were also friends with Catullo, who was on the arena side.
You gotta remember something. Wild Bill lived in my neighborhood.
So
me and Billy Jr. were friends as kids.
Right.
Before little Billy even got into life, I knew Billy on the street. I used to see Billy when he went to school. I'm older than Billy.
Yeah.
So I used to see Billy all the time. And, of course, I knew who his dad was and this and that. But I was with a totally different crew. I was in the Canarsie faction. I was with Nicky
Carrazzo, yeah.
In Canarsie. So, but I always had a healthy respect for Billy Sr. Billy Sr. was a man's man. He was a good guy. Unfortunately, I had a situation with him back in 97, back in 96. I think it was 96 before I actually got pinched on my case. I was on the run. I was on the run for like 17 months. And me and him had a falling out, an argument in the street. And I was so stressed, Michael. I was so stressed back then. I had the fucking parole office from New York State looking for me, BCI. I had fucking, I had the marshals looking for me. I had everybody looking for me.
Yeah.
And then I had a beef with fucking 2 different crime families, and then 2 of my friends just got murdered. I had so much fucking stress in my fucking life, brother. Let me tell you something. I could have put a fucking elephant to sleep with that stress.
I bet.
And so I just happened to turn the corner. We wound up getting in an argument, me and him, about some money that Mike Bellino had borrowed a year or 2 earlier, while Billy was in prison. And little Billy lent it to him. And, some words were exchanged, words I should not have said. And I got in trouble for it from my crew because it came off as me challenging him. I had too much respect for Billy to begin with.
Right.
But it was just one of those days, when it's like, you're in a setting where this guy has a standing, and you know exactly what you're saying is going to get you in trouble later on. I knew it when the words were coming out of my mouth. But I'm also a man before I'm anything else. And he was with another made guy who I hated. And I would never in a million years take a backward step with that motherfucker on location. It'll never fucking happen in a million years.
Right.
So I wound up walking away. My guys came, they sat down over it, they did whatever, everything was rectified. And then me and Billy started talking again, and everything was good with the world. But I felt really bad. I was away. As a matter of fact, I was with a few guys that were, who knew Billy since childhood, Billy Sr., when he disappeared. I was with Carmine Sessa. Me and Carmine Sessa were together.
Oh, yeah, he's
and
legendary.
It was such a shame to hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was such a shame.
It really was.
It's unfortunate, but that's the life. And, and look at these other guys, Ali Boy Persico's doing life in prison. His life is over because of it.
Done.
These things should have been worked out a little bit of a different way, especially now when they ain't killing nobody, these guys.
Is there anybody out there that you're shocked over?
Nobody wants to go back to jail, Michael. These guys want to live their lives, fuck their wives, and fucking make money. What do you think they want to do?
Is there anybody that you're shocked that ended up cooperating? Like, I can't believe I never saw thought he would have done it, or is it always everybody you never thought?
You want to laugh? Years ago, I bet you anything in the world that gas pipe would have never cooperated. Never.
Right.
And I remember I was on the work release program with the state at the time, and gas cooperated. And I was like, you got to be fucking, that's a lie, I would say. That's a fucking lie. Because gas was such a fucking off-the-rails motherfucker, you would never think in a million years.
Right.
He was one guy I thought that would never happen.
What about Scars?
There was a few other guys, over the years, you'd be like, oh, my God, he flipped. There's quite a few that I look at now, and, I don't want to mention their name online because one of them likes to keep his stuff totally done, but he's a guy I never thought would cooperate, but they did him wrong. I'm just going to say it like that. They did him really wrong.
What about Mikey Scars?
Mikey Scars, I never seen coming either. And you know what? They didn't do the right thing by Michael either. They really didn't. They didn't do the right thing by Michael at all.
Yeah.
And you could understand it. He was with Petey Gotti was the boss at the time, I believe, when Mikey cooperated. And let's face it, Petey Gotti wasn't fucking executive fucking material.
Right.
All right? So whatever decisions that he made, he should have thought twice about it, especially when he had guys like that. And Michael's whole family was involved. He was related to the Chicos. He was related to that faction.
Yeah, he was royalty.
So there was a lot of history there. And then his brother-in-law, Frankie Fap, he was another guy, who cooperated. But don't you see? These are guys who have pivotal positions. They seen the life for what it really was.
These are captains, skippers.
Yeah.
These aren't.
They seen life for what it really was. Listen, I don't begrudge anybody.
Right.
They have their own reasons. That's their reasons. I don't get into their business or their reasons. All I can say is I could understand because from my point of view, I know what my reason was. Am I going to apologize for it?
Right.
Fuck you.
Right.
I'm going to apologize. Why? So I can stay alive and finally, do things with my family that I didn't do for 30 fucking years because I was in the street.
How's your stress levels now compared to then?
Oh, it's different kind of stress now. Now you stress different things. You stress business.
Right.
You stress these other things. Michael, old habits die hard. I still do the same things I always do to protect myself. I still, I check this, I check that. Listen, if you're an organized crime member or a street guy, you are an expert in counter surveillance.
Right.
100%.
100%.
So I like to think of myself as the same. I'm always watching this, that, and I don't really have to as much as I do, but I'll never stop. You know why? Because the day you stop is the day they catch you short.
Right. But like if you're walking around, let's say you're in Miami, or let's not even say Miami, that's not a good place. Let's say you're in North Carolina somewhere. Your radar is not going to be on as much. But when you're walking around Brooklyn or Queens or something like that, you have to have that.
Listen, I understand that. But here's the thing. If I run into somebody in North Carolina, they see me, I see them. I'm just as much surprising them as them surprising me.
Yes.
So just let it happen, let it be, and we'll see what happens.
But what I'm saying is when you're walking around the streets of Brooklyn, you really are looking. You're really paying attention
when you're walking
more.
around the streets of Brooklyn, listen, I come, I go.
Right.
I come, I go. But I don't do it to make anybody upset.
Right.
I don't do it to dumb anybody.
You're not rattling
I'm not going
cages.
into the restaurants that I know that belong to certain people. I do what I have to do. If you run into me, you run into me.
Yeah.
You know what I like to think of it is? I'm a boat at sea.
Right.
You run into me in the middle of the ocean, we'll see who the fucking pirate is.
Right.
Plain and simple. If you get me, you get me.
That's right.
If you don't, you don't. If I get you, I get you. Because you don't have to be a tough guy to take somebody else's life, bud.
No.
All you got to do is be a little quicker and a little bit more reactive, and that's it.
Billy, the senior, the father, came over to me one time. I was as a comedian, I was performing at the Leukemia Foundation, and
I went there. I went there with his father once too.
Yeah,
he did the Christmas.
He did the Chris, and I was there. That was probably the night. So
yeah, I remember.
He came over to me.
Remember we went to the birthday party
Yeah.
for the kids and fucking Maldives,
Of course.
And, Dice was there.
Dice was there. I was there.
Yeah, it was me, you, Dice. It was a nice time.
So I had this little moment with Billy Senior, and he loved me because I'd go to his club all the time. They were nice. He came over to me, him and I alone. He goes to me, Michael, it takes a lot. He goes, anybody can take a life, but it really takes a lot to save a life. And that stuck with me. It's true.
And a lot of these guys were in the position to do so, Michael. Some of these guys had huge earns. These guys could have changed so many lives.
Right. Well, look at Michael Franzese. Michael Franzese earned so much, he could have changed lives.
Listen, Michael Franzese was a great, great businessman.
Yes.
I give it to him. Great, great businessman. When Michael speaks, he's very articulate. He knows his stuff.
Yes.
His father was from a neighborhood where I grew up. His father was from the Williamsburg area.
He's a tough man.
My uncle was
tough
good
guy.
friends with him. My father was friends with him. And they have nothing ever bad to say about Sonny. Sonny was a good guy. In my family, Sonny was a great guy. Okay?
Legendary.
I never had any dealings with Michael. I do know that he was in the street for not a long time in his life.
Right.
And I don't pretend to try to say that I know what it was like to be Sonny Franzese's son.
Right.
I would never know that. But I would just like Michael for one day to just come out and say that he cooperated. Yeah. If he did that, he'd be a fucking well-rounded guy.
I agree with you. He should.
He's holding on to it, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I don't get it. But I like to listen when Michael talks.
I do too. I happen to like Franz. I like Michael a lot. I like watching his show.
But you know what? I would say out of all the podcasts out there, he's probably the one who's making the most money.
100%. Yeah, I think he's definitely doing it.
And it's just the way that he knows how to market and do things. I would venture to say, I don't even have to look at statistics, and I can tell you he's probably going to be in the top fucking 2 or 3.
100%. Got 3 million viewers, this guy. Man, that's heavy, dude. We're talking, big time.
Listen, he really got his niche when he started to do the circuit with the churches and stuff like that. And because he's actually doing something, he's actually doing something.
Yeah.
But how long is this interview?
Right now we're doing 54 minutes. I lost you for about 4.
Yeah, so 54 minutes. So I would say, he didn't have such a run, but he did fall into fucking shit when he, fell into that gas scheme. He fell into shit with that. Right. And that put him on the map. And of course, when you're making that kind of money, guys are going to get salty. Guys are going to get jealous. Guys are going to get envious. I heard him do an interview where he said, other crime families were going to try to make the earn off it because the money was so lucrative.
Right.
And you've seen that. And granted, and he was right. Because once these guys see money, it doesn't matter who's in charge of it; they're going to want to get some of it.
I agree.
That's the nature of the game.
I believe
that's the nature of the game.
I really feel, if you think about it, all the people that are out there right now that cooperate and have podcasts, they're making more money than people in the street. Because once it's in
The
you,
whole idea is there is a genre for it.
There
You
is.
know, I thought about it.
You should have your own.
But you know what? I'm doing so. Listen, I do well in what I do, and you know what? I don't have to worry about the nonsense. You know, he said, she said shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, the internet feuds, the nonsense.
I
This
agree.
guy's no good. This guy cooperated. Well, this guy's no good. He's a blowjob. Who the fuck? Listen, what are we on the fucking playground?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really goes back and forth too much, and they have nothing else to say.
You know, it does because well, maybe that's how they get ratings. I don't know how it works. I'd be pretending if I knew how it works.
Like, I can't listen to the same story. I mean, Sammy the Bull, I used to watch his show, but after a while, even the same stories every time now. It's the same thing.
Listen, Sammy has a great story. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Okay.
Did you know him?
Listen, I never had any dealings with Sammy. I knew guys that had dealings with Sammy, like, you know, Michael, you know, Mikey Scars, things like that.
Yeah.
Yes. But Sammy, no. I never had no dealings with him. I never seen him out in the street when I was in the street. I knew of a few guys who dealt with him, some guys that were around him.
Yeah.
You know, there was some guys I used to steal with years ago, like Tommy Dono, whatever. His uncle was Huck, who was around Sammy.
Sure.
So me and Tommy, I used to hang around with Tommy all the time. Tommy's one of the 8 guys that I would say is on Staten Island who's a real fucking guy. He's a real gangster.
Yeah.
Tommy, if he has a chance, he's going to do what he needs to do.
Yeah. I agree.
You know?
I've heard he has a reputation. A lot of those guys did, yeah. What about and then also Tommy Karate's coming out now. He's starting to talk.
Tommy Karate, they're making the movie. And you know what? Listen, I hate to say it, but in the movies and anything else, blood sells.
100%. Mob movies sell, first of all.
Blood sells.
Just attach mob to it.
You know what? When you listen to a guy who was a fucking... if you listen to a guy who's got a podcast and he was a fucking bookmaker, he would fucking put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? But if you got a guy who did scores, he was in the street, he had a gun in his hand, he was doing stick-ups, he was doing fucking... You know, he was robbing drug dealers, he was on the fucking run, he had fucking... Like here, in my position, years ago, me and Mike Gennady, he's a made guy from the Gambino family, right? Me and him were in a fucking car years and years ago. We were young, and we get pulled over by the cops on Flatbush Avenue, me and him. Neither one of us had a fucking driver's license. Neither one of us could show fucking the proper ID. So we left the cop in the street with the fucking insurance card in his hand.
Yeah.
And we fucking run. We wind up having a fucking knockout, drag out, fucking crash up. We were crashing the cop cars, crashing them to get through. They beat the shit out of us for a better part of like fucking a half hour in the fucking precinct down on Gold Street. They beat us so fucking bad. And I was sitting in the street. Your mother wears, you know, I was cursing them. Right. Your mother sucks elephant cocks. You motherfucker, this, that, the other thing, everything. Bro, they lumped us up so bad. But years ago, that's how it was, you know? And people think that they don't believe the story, but the story is as true as fucking a heart attack. We did that. We got fucking wrecked. We totaled the car that Mike was driving. He had a Fleetwood Brougham at the time. We fucking wrecked it. And then we seen the cops on that Monday when we had to go to court. And all they did was nod their heads. They didn't say a fucking word. And that was it. But that's how it was years ago. It
was a whole different time. Those days will never exist again. It's over. I think the mob is over too. I think that's done.
You know what? Listen, there'll always be remnants of it as long as there's money to be made. As long as there's people who have vices, there'll always be somewhere to fucking take the bet. There'll always be somebody to lend the money.
Right.
That shit's going to be universal.
Yeah. It's going to be different, though. It's different nowadays. They're not on the streets. They're not in clubhouses anymore. I don't think social clubs are done.
So that's always going to be. It's always going to be. As long as you got people who want these things, there's always going to be somebody to provide that service.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. It's decimated. Because my generation and your generation, that's the last of it. The kids behind us, unless they really step up and they could fucking, reinvent the wheel, it's going to live and die right there with them.
Yeah. So before we go, Andrew, we're at an hour, but before we go, I do want to ask you, if first of all, I have 2 questions for you. If you were to do it all over again, knowing what you know now, back when you were young and that kid growing up between 2 social clubs, what would you do differently? That's question number 1. And question number 2 is, what do you have to say to the people who are just getting ready to make that decision that I'm going to go in?
Listen, if you're making that decision, understand that your life is never going to be your own, number 1. Number 2, you don't really have friends. You have acquaintances. These people are using you the same way that you're using the organization to get what you just want out of life. Plain and simple.
Right.
There's no real friends there because when the day comes that they got to put a bullet in your fucking head, that friendship is out the window.
Right.
Okay, here you are. We're kids. We have a fucking sleepover. We go to movies together. We go double date with our girlfriends. We do everything. And then fucking a week later, you're looking to fucking kill me because you want to become a made man.
Right.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
That is.
Instead of fucking giving your friend the fucking hint. They listen, bud, you gotta go. They're gonna look to fucking daha you. You're looking to fucking set him up. You gotta be a real fucking mutter de vam. You gotta be.
Yeah, 100%. And what about if you knew what you knew then when you were young? Where would have you went? What do you think you would have done?
My circumstances were such, I was in that environment. I would have probably did the same things. There would have been a few things that I did differently as far as like certain guys. I would have handled things a lot differently. But for the most part, I don't even think I would have got involved, bro. I really don't. I think I would have fucking walked away. Knowing what I know now, knowing how phony it was, and knowing that these guys really don't give a fuck if you live or die.
What do you think? What do you think?
Envelope. That's fucking universal.
That's
Remember
right.
That.
I agree. What would you become? What do you think you would have become? What were you interested in? Like, where do you think?
Oh my God, who the fuck knows? But all I remembered was that I was young. I was fucking committing crimes already. I was fucking 14 years old.
Yeah, you had no chance, no time. Yeah, you had no other time to think of anything.
Michael, to think about what I wanted.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
That's
you didn't know.
Part.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Well, it's nice.
I had a chance to sit and ponder what the fuck do I want to be.
But it's nice now that you can tell people
who hate what I did, and they'll sit there and go, yeah, well, you became a fucking man. I give a fuck what you say, motherfucker.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Under the Indian bridge. How's that?
You're doing what you do. You're not gonna. You've changed your ways when it comes to a life of crime. It doesn't mean you don't live your life and do what you got to do and protect yourself.
Listen, I want to live my life.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna fucking. And like I said, the only reason why I would ever put myself in harm's way to go back to prison is if I had to protect mine or myself.
Yep.
Then I go and my life is over anyway. So let's just do it.
I agree. I do think you should do more shows, though, and I'll tell you why. Because I think you really put a great message out there to those, and I think that you speak really well, and you put a great message out to the young people, and those are the ones who are listening to these mob shows.
You know what?
You should do something.
If you want to do another show, we'll do one. Listen, I never even thought about doing stuff like this, to be honest with you. And you know what? As long as I'm not playing that hate wagon, going back and forth, I give a fuck what other people think.
Yeah, I agree.
If I can do something that's positive, let's do it.
And I think you should.
Mike, I gotta go.
All right.
Listen, I hope it works out well. Let me know how it is.
I'll send you the link. I'll say thanks, Andrew. Right. I appreciate it.
All my best to your family, Michael.
Same here. All right, buddy. Take it easy. All right, everybody. That was Andrew DiDonato. And like I said, Andrew was he was a affiliate of the Gambino crime organization back in New York back in the day. I knew Andrew from back in the day. So we had a little history we got to talk about. He's actually a really nice guy, and I think he had a lot to say. And, he's a real deal. You have a lot of these people out here now that have these podcasts that really, listen, I'm not in the life. I'm a comedian. I happen to know a lot of people, and it was a part of my life, but I'm not in that. So I was not privy to a lot of these things. I never come across trying to say that I am. I'm not trying to be any of these people. It's not my thing. I grew up in a family in Long Island, who we weren't that. That wasn't us. We were more on the political end of things. We were never in that life. So I just find it a fascinating story. And of course, I talk the way I talk on stage, and a lot of the characters that I do on stage are loosely based on these kind of people. So I never really, and like I said, the mob at one point managed my career, and I got out of that pretty quick when I knew that was nothing but greed. And but I did do a lot of these things, and that's how I got to be introduced to a lot of the people that I talk about. But for the most part, of course, I'm just a comic, and that's what I do. But I'm a journalist, and I like to interview them, and I think they make great interviewers, and I'm fascinated by that lifestyle. And I think it's wonderful. But I do see, you don't have to you don't have to know too much about that life to know that some of these people that have these podcasts are just full of shit, and they really don't have much to say, and they're trying to make themselves more than what they are. Now, I don't know any of them in real life other than Andrew I met, and of course the people that we talk about I met. But I happen to like Francise's show. I listen to it. I watch it. I think it's a respectful show. I get a kick out of watching Sammy the Bull's show because he's still a legendary guy that people write about and talk about. I really like Mafia Roundtable. I think it's a great show, and I do enjoy watching Dom Sicali, another guy who is legendary in the streets, and it's fascinating. Jimmy Easy was on my show. I have nothing against Jimmy. Did a great interview, and I think he's fun to watch and listen to. Nothing bad to say about any of these people, really. But I just think it's just a dangerous place to be in this world. And if you're out there thinking about getting into the gang world, whether it be Italian or Spanish or anything else, black, it's too much going on out there, and there's not enough to risk your life in that business. So yeah, I mean, I'm totally enjoying these interviews and watching these people. What's great about my show is, I have them on once in a while, but then I have great shows with other people. I got a comedian coming on. Next show, we got Jason Stewart's coming on the show, comic from L.A. Him and I go way back. Jason's great. You want to tune into that episode. I got Daniela Delfino coming on September 2nd. Another fantastic, fantastic show. She's based out of Miami, Boca area. You're going to love that show. And I have a lot of people coming on. I have celebrities coming on. I'm doing my thing. I just do my thing. I got some shows coming up. I'm going to be in Boca. I wrote a couple of books. As you can see in the back here, I got Off the Line, How Not to Bomb, Put the Pot On. Put the Pot On is a cookbook. You can get it on Amazon with all 50 of the greatest Italian-American recipes ever. How Not to Bomb is if you're looking to get into stand-up comedy, people, this is the book you want to get. It's the guide. And then, of course, Off the Line is about how to become an entrepreneur, coach, and restaurant coach if you want to start your own business. If you've been in the restaurant for all your life cooking behind the line, now you can get off the line, learn how to be a consultant. I wrote that book because that's what I do. My business is part of restaurant consulting and consulting businesses and entrepreneurs. And then, of course, cooking. And again, I'm going to plug my book here. This was before farm to table, people. This was yard to table, where you went out and you picked the fresh basilico in the garden. You got some tomatoes, you had figs, and you made yourself nice stuff right from the garden, from your grandparents' house. Every year they make the marinara sauce. Every year they make the paste. They do it with they put the fresh basil right in the jar. I got Sunday gravy. Look at the recipes that are in this book. Okay. Put the pot on, because everybody's mother said, hey, put the pot on. We got company coming over. I got Sunday gravy in here, spaghetti. I even put spaghetti and meatballs, lasagna, baked ziti, vodka sauce, Monagot, the real Monagot, the ones with the crepe Monagot. I got rigatoni alla vodka, real vodka sauce, not the shit you get in a jar. Spaghetti aioli, chicken scapriella, pasta pisella we got in this book. We got everything. We talk about the Metagons. If you know, you know. We're going to talk about the Metagons. Anyway, great show. Again, the show is sponsored by Babes. I'm going to put up the board there. Babes Body and Paint, classic restorations, full body and paint, rust repair, fiberglass repair, panel replacement, minor fabrications, body off restorations, computer, color matching, quality, passion, perfection. Don't forget, you can call them, you can email them, you got the address. They're Venice, Florida, Babes Body and Paint, classic restorations. If you got that classic car and you don't know what to do with it, and you keep on looking at it and you say, I'm going to restore it, you're never going to restore it, people. You're never going to restore it. Call up Babes, even if you have to have it shipped in. I trust these people. Al and Cheryl are wonderful people. It's a family-owned and operated business. He's got 40-some-odd years in the business of restoring cars. Babes Body and Paint, classic restorations. I love him having sponsor him on. They're sponsoring the show. I love to have him on air. They're going to come on soon again. They were on one episode. You can look for it, and they'll be back. And I appreciate everybody listening to the show. My name is Michael Wheels Parise. This is Everybody's Got a Story, and I'll talk to you soon, people. And listen, don't forget to go on to the Amazon.com and look for the book. And the book is called Put the Pot On. I'm very proud of it. You can get it in Kindle or in paperback. Again, see you guys. Have a great day. See you next week. I got Jason Stewart coming on the show.